I have found the best niche out there right now on TikTok. Not only will all of your videos get monetized inside the TikTok creativity program, you won't have to worry about any unoriginal content strikes. The actual videos themselves get millions and millions of views. I'm really dropping some sauce in today's video. We're talking about the AI news niches.
Breaking news! Former Apple worker warns about simple mistake that's killing iPhone batteries.
Now, I know what you're thinking, have I lost my mind? But honestly, these videos are generating millions of views across multiple different pages. It's not just one person doing this. Loads and loads of people are going viral making these type of videos. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, that's great. The videos are going viral, but these videos look too hard to make. How am I going to replicate this? Well, that's where you're wrong. These videos are actually really easy to make once you know how. That's exactly what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do in today's video. Now, on TikTok right now, the actual bikini bottom fish, you know, the newsreader seems to be popping off, but I'm actually going to show you how to animate that and another character, just in case you want to have your own spin on this whole niche. You know, if you make your own character, you might stand out and you might generate even more views. Right now, there are a few pages doing this fish niche, which means, you know, it works. I think you'll definitely get views if you decide to do that niche. I'm going to show you how to make your own character as well as the fish, just so we cover all bases to give you the best possible chance of going viral on TikTok. Honestly, TikTok right now is like the Wild West. So many random niches are working and people are generating thousands and thousands of pounds. You know, obviously you've got people like Musa that are just turning over £20,000 on loads of different pages. You've also got normal regular people thinking about wanting to quit their jobs. Honestly, unless you've been living underneath a rock, you know what the TikTok creativity program is. You don't need me to explain that to you. So first, let's break down why these videos are just popping off. We get the first green flag because they are 100% original content. You know, we're making this entire scene, we're getting the character, we're making the voice, and we're creating the stories. So we have no issues with TikTok, and they're actually going to put us on the For You page because of this. You know, if you're making unoriginal content, TikTok won't push you onto the For You page as much, and you won't generate as many views, which to be honest isn't really an issue because you're not going to get paid either if you have unoriginal content. So it's definitely a very good green flag to have in this niche. Next is it is completely faceless. Like, you don't have to show your face with this niche. Hide behind the camera, and that's why I like it, because anyone can do it. I know not a lot of people like showing their face on TikTok, so this is a perfect niche for people like you. But even though it is completely faceless, you still have the personality and the brand behind it, because if you decide to go your own animated character instead of just the fish one, people will recognize your style of videos because that is your unique animated character that's, you know, speaking. So you kind of created your own face, like a digital face. Finally, the third green flag is just that these videos are very easy to make, and like if you was really motivated one day, you could just bulk make loads of these videos and have them scheduled for the entire week. And honestly, it would not take you that long. It may take you like an hour to bulk make these videos for the week. When I say anyone can do this, I really do mean it. Alright, enough telling you why this is a good niche. Let's just get straight into the tutorial. The first thing we want to do is animate the character. Now, we have two options here. We can animate a fish character and basically just copy what's working right now on TikTok, or we can create our own idea, you know, to stand out and hopefully get even more views. I'm going to show you both, and I'll let you make your decision on which one you'd rather do. So first, let's talk about the fish, because obviously this is what's going viral right now. All you have to do is go into YouTube and type in SpongeBob Fish News green screen. There's quite a few people uploading like the full animated version. Right, so next up we go into CapCut, which obviously is a free video software editor. All we do is click on new video. Obviously this is a TikTok video, so we want to click 9:16. Then we want to get the actual fish from earlier and throw it into CapCut. Okay, so now that we have our B-roll footage, we actually want to pick the fish that we want to use for most of our video. I say we just go for the normal one. You know, we don't want the one with the mic. I think just the normal one will make the cut. So all we're going to do is cut this down so it's just the normal guy speaking. Then what we're going to do is actually make the fish life size for the TikTok video. Something like that. And then what we actually want to do is obviously get rid of the green screen. So all you have to do is go over to Smart Tools, go over to Remove Background, click Chroma Key, click this little color picker, click the green, and then bang, just like that, the green screen's gone, which is great. What we actually want to do now is create the actual scene. So all we need to do is get the scene from the TV show. So just by typing in SpongeBob blue background, we can get this cool little effect, which obviously is what a lot of people are going for. So all we have to do is save that, go back over to CapCut now and drag that little background onto the CapCut. Let's just extend it so it fits the whole scene, so the fish layer is actually above it. And then obviously we need the little desk. What we can actually do is type in a cartoon desk. So what I found is a cartoon desk news, and honestly any of these will do. Like, it's completely up to you. You know, something like this, any desk will do. You don't really have to make this part complicated. You can go as creative or as easy as you want. For the purpose of this video, we're just going to download this because it's free from Vecteezy. Then we're going to go back over to CapCut. We're going to, okay, so this is in a zip file, so if you don't know how to extract a zip file, all you have to do is go onto files, click extract, and then it'll open up our little image right here. All you have to do is drag and drop this file on, and what we've got is this cool little desk. And what we should have is a little desk that appears just like this. So all then we need to do is actually make sure this scene is looking correct. So we want to make sure the blue is covering the whole frame, and then we also want to make sure that this desk is covering the whole of the bottom. Alright, so now that we've created this scene, what we're going to want to do is actually just duplicate it, because CapCut has this really annoying feature. So if you was to go onto this green screen and copy and paste it to the next layer, you see that it's actually, the fish is going to move like just a frame out the wrong way, and it's actually the most annoying thing, because if you used to duplicate this scene over and over again, the fish would eventually go off the screen, so you can't just make a minute-long video that way. So what you actually have to do is just create about 2 seconds of the scene, make sure the fish is in the same frame for both of these clips, which you've got the whole thing in, and then just click export and then just click download. And what this is going to do is actually download the video that we've just created, this little 2 seconds, and then what we can do is just drag that video in just like that. And then as you can see, it's going to play and going to continue playing. The fish is going to be in the same place, everything's going to be in the same place, but we've got this track now. And then all you want to do is keep on dragging these fish layers over and over again, and you want to get it to around obviously the 1 minute mark, because the 1 minute mark is where we get paid on TikTok. Now that we've got this scene, we can reuse it over and over again. We don't have to create this ever again, and we can just go straight into this CapCut project, you know, just edit the news or edit the daily video that we're going to make for that day. Now for the next step, which could obviously be the most important part, we need to actually make the voice. You know, we need to actually make the fish speak or the donkey speak how they actually would speak in the movies. To do this, we're going to be using the cloning feature on 11 Labs. First up, we're going to need a clip of the donkey speaking or the fish speaking. You can find this just by going onto YouTube. What we need is an MP3 so 11 Labs can read it. Okay, so once we've got the actual fish MP3 from the video, all we need to do is actually drop it onto this Speechify website. And now the reason we're using Speechify and not 11 Labs is because you actually have to pay for 11 Labs. So if you want to do this for absolutely completely free before you start getting paid from the creativity program, Speechify is the way to go. So obviously once you've actually got the MP3, you need to make sure it's around 2 minutes, because any longer than that Speechify won't be able to handle. So if the video clip that you've downloaded is longer, just cut it down. And then once you've got the 2 minute clip, all you need to do is click import. And what it will then do is actually just simplifies the clip, and it will save in your voices. So then when we do have the actual news report that we want the fish to speak, just click that and then it will generate in the fish voice. Alright, so now that we've got that, we actually need the content, what our presenter is actually going to be speaking. Now the thing that keeps these TikToks actually engrossing and entertaining and not just novelty is actually having real world news that people actually want to listen to. Now the best place I found to find real world news is on Google News, just because they cover the whole world and it's very easy to find top stories live that are happening right now. Now there are loads of articles on Google News, but let's just remember who our demographic is. They're 15 to 30 year olds, so they're not going to want to see articles on stuff like Euro steadies after German inflation falls, or things like Brexit is finally coming. You know, people have heard way too much about Brexit, but stories that are like down and hip, you know, stuff like Daisy Ridley says Star Wars sequel controversies, or maybe like the American XL bully ban for Scotland, stuff that is like relatively new and people actually want to hear about. It's not the boring politics stuff, you know, you want actually engrossing stories, because you want people to watch for the full minute, so TikTok sends it out to more and more people. Anyways, once you find the article that you actually want to include in your video, this is a very important part what you do next. You actually want it to summarize the article. Now the best way to do this is to type in the prompt, can you summarize this article with an interesting hook to keep the viewer interested, and make sure it has around 1,000 words. You want it to have 1,000 words, so the video is going to be over 1 minute, so we're going to be in the creativity program. But as you can see, ChatGPT is cooking up some madness right now, and it is creating this really summarized, really hooky text, you know, to keep the viewer engaged and keep them watching, which is going to be really good for our TikTok. And so now that we've got this amazing article from ChatGPT, all we need to do is throw this into 11 Labs, and then for our voice we just need to click the synthesized voice that we created earlier from that YouTube video. And you know, I decided to generate the donkey voice, but if you went for the fish, it will generate the fish, or if you did your own thing, that's what the sound will be. We're going to get a little something like this.
In a groundbreaking discovery that echoes the fantastical realms of fiction, researchers have unearthed...
Okay, so now that we've got the fish voice, all we actually need to do is drop the voice into the CapCut project, and then obviously just throw it in just like this. And as you can see, it is sounding good. It's matching up with the voice. It's matching up with the actual fish speaking. All we need to do now is take it back to the basics with TikTok. Because we've created the scene, we've created the voice, we just need a few images on the screen to, you know, represent the story, and we also need some captions. So to get the images, we can just go to the article where we actually got the story from. You know, this is about the weird ancient tree from before dinosaurs, because I think a lot of people will be interested. You know, it's dinosaurs. I mean, I'm interested in dinosaurs anyway. Might just be me. Anyways, you can just drag that file on and then drag it to the top of the CapCut file, and then we've got this cool fossil tree thing. And as long as we make it around that size, I think that's how most of these guys do it on TikTok. You only want it to be covering every 5 seconds, maybe we'll change the image. So we've got that cool fossil for 5 seconds, and then if we go back onto the article, you know, we've got this person that's actually discovered it. So again, just save the image, go back over to CapCut, drag and drop the image in. You know, it is as simple as this. It's looking pretty good, but obviously we do need those captions. So to generate some captions, you know, you've probably done this before if you've watched any of my tutorials, but just in case you haven't, all you need to go is to captions on the left hand side, go to auto captions and then click generate, and then CapCut is just going to generate some cool looking captions. Now obviously what we want to do is we want to change the font straight away because this looks disgusting. We probably want this a bit bigger. I don't know, maybe like 10 or something. And again, I don't quite like that font that it is. If we this one here, this Dino Pump, kind of looks like the SpongeBob style. I like that, so this is the one we're going to be using just to hopefully match the theme a bit. And then again, I'm not too sure about the blackness of the font because it kind of blends in way too much with the background. So what we can do is actually add a stroke. I think if we add a white stroke, that looks cool, but I don't know if it stands out too much. Maybe we could change the black to blue. No, okay, that blends in too much. Okay, this looks good. And then obviously, as long as it's applied to all at the bottom, we'll get this cool font that just applies to all of it. Now it would be cool if we could get a little animation on the fonts. So to do that, all you have to do is go down to animation, and then what I would like to do is go to the in animation. Now we don't want to go too crazy, I'm just going to go with the typewriting font. Now you can change this to completely anything you want. I just like how it appears as the narrator is actually speaking, you know, it just kind of adds something for the reader to follow, another thing to keep them watching and keep them engrossed. Now obviously you can make this better if you want to make it better. I'm just making this for proof of concept for you guys so that you can see that it's doable. This is what we've actually created, is carry on editing this just a bit more, and then I'm going to show you the finished product.
In a groundbreaking discovery that echoes the fantastical realms of fiction, researchers have unearthed the fossilized remains of ancient giants lurking beneath the sands of time in Norton, NB, rewriting the narrative of Earth's prehistoric past.
As you can see, this video turned out really good. Definitely engaging and unique enough to watch, and I think it's going to captivate a lot of viewers on TikTok and potentially go viral. So I actually might try out this page and to see how it does. Now for those of you that want to try something different and come up with their own character or their own idea, okay, so to make your own character, what we're going to be utilizing is something called Adobe Express. Now, Adobe Express is this free tool that Adobe are offering right now, which basically lets you animate characters with just speech. We're actually going to type in Adobe Express Animation and find this free animation video maker. And basically it says, quickly animate a character for free use using your own audio, and this is exactly what we want. Obviously the fact that it says free use forever, it sounds really good to us, so let's just click create now. On this page is where you actually get to pick your character. So right now you can't upload your own character, but you can pick from like a plethora of different characters, and obviously the character that you pick is going to be the character that's always going to be on your news videos. It's going to be the one that you're posting all the time, so make sure you pick something that's engaging, or at least, you know, something that you like anyway. Anyways, because we're doing news, I think I'm going to go with this Earth type character, and for as in background, you know, it's the Earth, so hopefully there's like a spacey background. Let's quickly change the size to a TikTok reel. Story/reels is what we want. So the character's too big, let's make the character a bit smaller. Now it is good that Adobe give you this whole scene, however if you do want, you could just literally animate the character and place it onto your own scene like I showed you earlier on CapCut. So obviously that decision is completely up to you. So let's place him in space. Let's place him down here. Obviously after we animate the character, we can have the news appear up here as well as some captions, so that's probably where we want him. So you can either record audio, so you could use your own voice, or you could just actually use like 11 Labs audio or something. So if you use 11 Labs, all you'd have to do is go to 11 Labs, or you could use Speechify, the same voice audio that we used earlier. It's completely up to you. Any voice, you know, works. It's going to animate from the voice. But just for example, if we was to go into 11 Labs and just type in hello world. Now obviously you're going to come up with a better hook than this. Like, this is a really bad hook. I don't expect, please don't use this hook. We're going to choose Joseph, and then all we're going to do is click generate, and then basically what we're going to do is click browser and then import the audio that we just created on 11 Labs. As you can see, it is just generating, and this normally doesn't take that long. It takes a couple of minutes, if that. Looks like I've accidentally put in a different 11 Labs audio, but you get the idea. It works the exact same way. To be honest, this probably does it better justice because it's more speech. This is from a video that I did a while ago from the Stoic video. You see this guy's just saying the Stoic words and he's actually animating it with his voice.
Today I stand before you to ignite the fire within you, to awaken the dormant potential that resides in your very core.
This works really, really well, and the fact that it's free means that you can use this on any of your TikTok videos, full commercial rights, and it just gives you that different edge. If you want to create your own character, it's a lot easier to do it this way. If you guys want like a part 2, or maybe if you want the results from this video, let me know down in the comments, and I'll make another video showcasing how this page is done and if we've actually managed to generate millions of views. Anyways, make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys on the next one.